Every time the market drops, financial news acts like your retirement is in jeopardy. And see, if you're approaching retirement or if you're already retired, this can be terrifying. But here's the problem. Your retirement plan should be about far more than just the investments in your account. It should be far more than how the market is performing today. In fact, if the success of your retirement changes every single time the market moves by 2%, 3%, 5%, or even 10%, you probably don't have a retirement plan. Rather, you have an investment account. And so what I am going to do today is break this video into 6 different parts that specifically addresses how your retirement plan is more than just the investments in your account. And so let's start with part 1. The news is built to sell attention. Guys, we know this. Think about the last financial news headline that you saw. Markets plunge, investors panic, the market's overvalued, this changes everything, this is a new paradigm. Is there a correlation between the market now and the market in 1929, right before the Depression? Is the AI trade over? What should we be thinking about it? Whatever it is, every single day, we are fed information in such a way to where we start believing that the sky is falling. And see, the problem isn't that headlines are always wrong. The problem is that they're designed to capture your attention. See, they aren't designed in such a way that helps you with your long-term finances and your long-term financial decisions. And here's an analogy. Imagine that every single night after work, you go home and you watch the weather. And the weather report, the meteorologist only talks about the biggest storm somewhere in the country for that given day at that given time. You'd probably assume after a while that we just have terrible weather everywhere, all the time. And see, financial news can often feel the exact same way. Let's go into part 2. Part 2 is price versus value. One thing investors often forget is that price and value are not always the same. A great example of this is, let's assume that a company has a really bad quarter. Investors, as a result, become overly emotional. See, stock price, as a result, can start to fall much faster than the underlying value of that business. And now see, the opposite can also be true. Investors can start to become overly optimistic, and prices, as a result, can actually get ahead of reality, ahead of value. And so see, markets today are often driven by emotion, by expectation, by interest rate changes, by headlines, and by politics. And see, businesses don't operate this way. These various variables can change the price of a company on a given day, but we know that over time, that is how businesses create value. And see, those are 2 very different timelines. The market gets to vote every single day, but it weighs the value of that particular business over a long period of time. Let's go into part 3. Part 3 is that volatility isn't failure. Too many people think that volatility means that their retirement plan is failing, that their retirement plan is falling apart. And see, this just isn't true. Volatility is simply a part of investing. It is the cost that we pay to be invested. And every retirement plan worth having should properly account for volatility, should properly account for bear markets. It should go through what happens if we go into a recession, what happens if we have uncertain times in the market, what happens if the market collapses by 10%, 20%, if our Social Security benefits cut, if taxes increase. See, any retirement plan worth having should address volatility. It should be a part of the plan so that none of these things are surprises. Rather, they're expected. They're something that we've already addressed, that we've already been proactive about when thinking about retirement. And this brings us into part 4. A plan accounts for bad markets. See, when we build retirement income plans here, the goal isn't to predict the next recession. Rather, it's to prepare for one. Your plan should answer questions like, Where is my income coming from? Why am I allocated in the way that I'm allocated? What do I own? Why do I own it? And what is it doing for me? How am I in the most tax efficient way withdrawing assets? What is my tax plan for retirement? How am I allocated across my various accounts, keeping in mind the tax consequence? How much cash do I keep available in my cash reserves? Can I adjust to spending? And if I do adjust my spending, how do I do it? And when should I just leave my investments alone? See, those decisions matter far more than what the S&P or Dow is doing on a given day. This brings us in to part 5. Investments are just one piece. Sure, investments are tremendously important. In fact, that's how we get paid, by managing investments. But your retirement plan should be way more than just your investments. Your retirement plan needs to have a built-out income strategy specific to your situation. It should have a tax strategy, a withdrawal strategy. When should you claim Social Security? Is it early at the age of 62 at full retirement age, or do you delay it until the age of 70? How do your RMDs play into your plan, those required minimum distributions? What about Medicare? Decisions that you make in retirement can dramatically impact the premiums that you pay for Medicare. So how are we mindful of that? How much should you keep in your cash reserves? What about your investment allocation across your different accounts to create the most tax efficient strategy and income possible? What about estate planning? And the flexibility that you need to actually live the retirement that you want to live. See, investments, like I said, are incredibly important, but they're only one piece to a much bigger puzzle. And this brings us into the last part of this video, part 6, one of my favorite parts, and that is the paycheck mindset. And this is where we dive into the 2 different phases of life. See, up until now, you've been in that accumulation phase, focused on growth, focused on saving over a long period of time. And see, in your working years, volatility doesn't really impact your paycheck. Why? Because you're showing up to work. You still get paid, and ultimately you have time on your side to ride out market volatility. But see, in retirement, all of that changes. You no longer have time on your side to ride out market volatility. Likely you're relying on your portfolio, you're relying on that retirement savings as a retirement paycheck. So you can't take on unnecessary risk. And now, more important than ever before, your investments are actually what's helping you subsidize your living in retirement. And so this is why planning starts to matter much, much more. See, the goal of the plan, as I go through this, isn't to eliminate volatility. Rather, it's simply to keep volatility from forcing bad decisions within our plan.